research, and I
Right,
something
don't
I don't know
know
anything
about,
about,
yeah.
but I could ask you the next logical question in that chain,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, but your question is, how do you?
But the plus of that, though,
Yeah.
is that you have that passion for identifying what he said. So I would see that would enhance that conversation. But you're vulnerable to wearing
Yeah.
different hats.
So tell me about your own experience of your coaching in that. Tell us about your own experience.
Well, I found that when I made that identification, that suggestion kind of welled up in me of like and also when you were speaking, maybe this is inevitable and part of what I know you have to resist at times, but I heard you say like 2 or 3 things that were prominent in that book, and that I know were so I had this kind of click inside of me that and so I mean, it wasn't like I was telling you, I don't think, what to do. I think in that instance trying to affirm where you were already and giving you a clue to where to go further. But that may not be.
But this was a great moment, because it's giving us a lot to reflect on together.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when your client is on a track and it does cause something to well up in you like that? So here's my question to you. What opportunities did you miss by not dialing back and saying, tell me more about that? What else, ... What resources do you know, ...
Yeah.
Because your resource became his only
Yeah,
resource in
yeah,
that
yeah,
conversation.
that's true. Yeah.
And so this
Yeah.
was a great moment. I would encourage you next time to push into his what's before you offer. Number 1, number 2, ask him if you can put on the mentoring hat. Don't tell him.
Yeah, that's good.
Can I wear the mentoring hat for a moment? Your client, you know this. Your client is almost always going to say yes,
Yeah.
unless they're a coach themselves and they say no. Dial, and they're coaching you in that moment. No, I know I need to explore more.
Yeah.
They're almost always going to say yes, but ask their permission. We should always ask our clients' permission, so they continue to be in the driver's seat, because you actually took the driver's seat at that point.
Yeah, I did. I don't usually do it that way.
No,
Maybe it was
but you
the
were
camera.
excited. You were really
Yeah, I
excited.
got excited.
No. So this is not a miss. This is a really great moment to reflect on. What do you do
Yeah.
when you got the answer? You know a great
Yeah,
resource.
And what would be your response had Kenny said to you, I can see this is important to you, tell me more,
Right.
so that it would be initiated from, at what point does he tell him more, or still try to draw something out from Kenny?
Well, I think your suggestion to have just asked more at that point of what resources do you know, what would
Yeah.
be, to explore that a little further, and then if there was, you gotta let some silence happen for thinking.
Right.
And then if you've kind of exhausted that, and I still have this resource that I think would be helpful,
Yeah.
then that's a different, then you can ask
Exactly.
more
Right.
appropriately at that moment. right?
Exactly. So the opportunity is, in a situation like that, you're gonna have that resource to offer at the end of the session, because it's
Yeah,
that powerful in you.
well,
It's
and that's
not
what
going anywhere, right?
I thought I had this voice inside of me that said, Phil, don't say that till the camera's done. then you can tell.
When Nathan's out of the room.
That's right.
Yeah, when Nathan's out of the room, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but this happens for all of us. We all find we're in a session where we know it, and we're excited. We know what they should do.
Right.
And choosing to stay in coach mode is a choice. It's a conscious choice. And I would submit that there was actually powerful fertile ground because of the direction he was going on that he didn't get to further explore in that moment. Of course, we have a 15-minute session, and we all know that's not a lot of time. But there was a missed opportunity there. On the other hand, you connected him to a great resource. But I wonder what other resources he actually has at his fingertips that in addition to that would have made this a much even more powerful
Yeah.
opportunity for him.
So is that where you saw the opportunity? In
Yes.
that place?
You did not go there.
Yeah.
To ask him some more what questions, to explore more resources. Or if you're in a resourcing phase, to before you offer resource, say, what resources do you have that would help empower the direction of your thinking or something like that? Let him access that. He might have stated the book, and then you would have had an easy jump in, and then you could go on, what else?
Yeah.
I agree, that's an awesome resource,
Yeah.
and I think dot, 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 dot. And it's okay to share in that
Yeah.
context. What else do you know that you could use?
Yeah.
So anyway. In general, if you're not wearing a coaching hat, ask permission to put on a different hat. In the context of a full coaching relationship, you may have 5 minutes of a counseling hat. You might have 5 minutes of a consulting hat. I think it's just good practice that if you're changing your hat, you ask, again, the client has to drive the agenda. And when you're asking them permission, they're still in the driver's seat. When you just do it, then you're taking control of the session from them.
That's true.
So, what you did was great, and thank you for being willing to be in a coaching situation with this, because this is a great teachable moment. It's fantastic. What else worked for you, or didn't work for you in that coaching session?
Well, it was compressed time-wise.
Yes.
And I needed more time just to kind of, I wasn't as concerned about the camera as I might have otherwise, but it just was more like, I know we have 15 minutes rather than an hour to kind of breathe and explore more deeply those places. And I
Yeah.
think, it took me a little while at first to get to understand where it was you wanted to go. That this was not about the young adults, not about that group, but about changing. And this was my word, not yours, I think, but the changing the culture of the larger church. That's the way I described it in my head. I don't
Yeah.
think that was.
You said that out loud.
Did I say that out loud?
Yep.
Was that helpful or no? I
Yeah.
don't know. Okay.
He's the arbiter of that.
Yep.
Okay.
That was helpful.
So, good. What other things did you guys notice?
I made the assumption that there was a coaching-client relationship already established here. I would find it interesting sometime to sort of have a dialogue of the initial conversation, to see how we go about whether or not that's going to be a good match or.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Huh.
That's a great idea.
That's good. We could have done that here too.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, the reality is,
Really know.
I
Right,
can,
yeah.
I
We
can
used the
grab-
ferns as the,
Yeah.
the icebreaker.
I could grab somebody in the network and create a video that could be sent out as a demo for a
That's
first
good.
relationship.
Yeah.
So why don't I'll make that a task for
It
me.
actually might be good to have someone who would be a yes and a no.
Okay,
So having somebody that you know from the beginning is not gonna actually be a good fit,
okay,
because it would help us to see that as well.
okay. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Interview somebody you know you don't like.
Well, it'll be role playing.
Yeah, of
Right,
course.
exactly, exactly. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a great idea. I think the other thing is, you could do more connect on the front end, because you have a brand new relationship.
Mhm.
You could have done that. You were really time pressured.
I felt that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you even cut yourself off with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to run up against the end.
Well, people kept coming in, that was the other thing.
I know, and that was
Yeah,
not helpful, and I
distractions.
apologize
That's
for
right.
that.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
But, so the other thing is, you could flesh out with him more if you wanted to. What are you gonna do with this? Real concrete next steps. What's your buy-in?
Yeah, yeah.
When do you wanna see that happen by?
Who else is gonna be involved? Everything he was talking about was completely on him. And, I mean, even when he talked about going to another congregation, it was a congregation you were part of,
Yeah.
not anything that you've gone out to seek.
Yeah,
And so I felt like that was a lot of missing, was who else was gonna be involved in this. I mean, it was going back to the same people,
Right.
but not bringing any other outside voices in.
I wonder if next time we do one of these demos, we need to shoot for a 20-minute demo, provide a little more space for exploration and doing this stuff. 'Cause So I think that's part of what we bump in against with the 15-minute deal. But anyway, any other thoughts? Darcy, do you have any thoughts?
Couple things that were already said,
Okay.
so I'm gonna leave it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was very helpful.
It was really
Very
great.
helpful.
Do you see how helpful it is just to have
Yes,
people do it and to reflect on it?
yeah.
So, anyway, really appreciate you two being willing to do this. And our time is, I guess, up.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here. Would somebody close us in prayer?